Sharing is Caring by Itslivybear. Chapter 5. Field trips always. Wait, that's already a thing? Oops. Izuku was incredibly relieved when Yaoyorozu got picked to be the representative and Ida the vice. Shirazaki also had gotten a few votes, but not enough to secure her either position, and Izuku was just glad no one had voted for him. Sure, he would have immediately turned it down, and no one really had any reason to vote for the quiet, weird kid who broke his arms every once in a while, but he could never be too careful. He did have one vote, though, which made him feel kind of light and fuzzy. Someone had, instead of voting for the clear main candidates or themselves, cast a vote for him. It was a little crazy to think about. Still, the two of them would be great. He already knew it. Yaoyorozu was really smart and creative, and Ito was disciplined and good at maintaining order. The rest of the day before lunch passed uneventfully, with English and math, but then lunch came along. He was quick to offer a quiet congratulations to Yaoyorozu, not having gotten to tell her before, and she smiled gratefully in return. It ended up being the same people that sat at the table yesterday, with the addition of Jiro and Asui. The table was getting rather full.
Koda,
Asui croaked out.
I hope you are feeling better.
The Rocky boy nodded rapidly, shaking his hands nervously, and half the table looked up, concerned. Asui blinked.
Kyoto, I am rather strong, stronger than my muscle mass would suggest. I was concerned that I had injured Koda yesterday.
Ashido leaned forward. Whoa, you're strong? I would have never guessed. Is it a soulmate quirk? Asui shrugged.
Likely. It certainly is not from something a frog could do, since I can lift practically anything.
Suddenly, their conversation was completely cut off by a blaring alarm, and Izuku couldn't help but flinch at the sudden and overwhelming noise. What's going on? Uraraka yelled at one of the people rushing by, a third year. It's a level 3 security breach. That means there's someone unauthorized on campus. Izuku could feel the blood drain from his face. Someone unauthorized? That could mean literally anyone who wasn't a student or staff, a parent, a random person on the street, a villain, or everyone, please calm down. It is just the media. Izuku's head shot up to see Ida floating near one of the exit signs in the hallway. The hallway? When had he gotten into the hallway? The crush of people around him suddenly became overwhelming. He could feel all their quirks separated by clothing and clothing alone, begging for him to reach out and touch skin to use them. He shoved his hands in his pockets. Slowly, the hallway cleared out, and he let Ashido, who hadn't gone with Yaoyorozu and Uraraka to get Ida, guide him back to the class while his mind raced. Sure, he had known the media was there, since they mobbed him at the gates that morning, but how had they gotten in? He had seen it firsthand. The UA barrier was in perfect working order, and would have prevented unauthorized personnel from entering the school grounds. He spared a glance out a floor-to-ceiling window they passed, and saw the gate. Or lack of one. Where the iconic UA gate had once stood was now a crumbling pile, parts of the wall gone too. Various teachers and Nezu were gathered outside the wall, inspecting the damage, but also giving a good sense of scale. Considering the size, it's no wonder the reporters had been able to burst in. The hole was huge, about half the size of the crowd of reporters had been in this morning in diameter. Aiwazawa stepped back into the classroom, finding most of them in their seats, and nodded. Good, you're all here. As you might be aware, there was a media break-in. Ida, good job on controlling the chaos. Aside from that, we are now going over alarms and evacuation procedures in case this ever happens again, which it shouldn't. He sighed. Now, fire alarms. It seemed odd to have a field trip the next day, but plans had already been set. The buses arranged, and the teachers prepared, apparently, so they all climbed onto the bus, some in hero costumes, some in not. Most in hero costumes, Izuku thought, looking around. To be fair, so was he. Felt a little bad for Ida, who had tried to organize the class into 2 orderly rows, only to find the bus layout was not the typical rows, rendering his preparations useless. Ashido tried cheering him up, but she was giggling too much for it to be very convincing. Midoriya, he blinked, looking at Asui.
I am very blunt and say what I think,
She said, rather bluntly, already enforcing her statement.
and your quirk is rather harmful to your body.
He nodded slowly, but luckily Ayoma took over before she could prompt him for any verbal answers. Oh, oui, he sighed dramatically. It is a burden to have a quirk that injures you with overuse, like my neighbor Lazar. But it is so sparkly and great for flashy hero work, no? Not very heroic to puke your guts out after one use, Jiro snickered. Uraraka huffed in mock offense. Sometimes there are occupational hazards. We all have disadvantages. Kirishima sighed. You're right that it's flashy, though I'm not flashy at all, so some people might not notice me at all. I mean, all I can do is harden my body. Kaminari snorted. If you're looking for flashy, look no further than Bakugo and Todoroki, though Bakugo will probably never be popular with his personality. Izuku blinked, even as Bakugo started to growl, but his thoughts were cut off as Kirishima chuckled good-naturedly. Oh, come on, my bro isn't that bad. I'm pretty sure his insults are just his way of showing affection. Instead of blowing up like Izuku expected him to, Bakugo just sneered a little and rolled his eyes. Shut the fuck up, shitty hair. See? No one in class looked convinced, but Ashido cackled. You're just saying that because he's your soulmate, dummy. Kirishima went a little red, almost matching his hair. No, I just see the good in people, I guess. Wait, is he actually your soulmate? Before the redhead could answer, Bakugo did. Found out at the fucking entrance exam, and now he won't stop fucking bugging me about it. I get safer hands, he can make fucking sparks. I don't see why it's a big fucking deal, nosy extras. Izuku blinked. Wow, Bakugo had found his soulmate. And was even in the same class as him? That was crazy lucky. Yeah, pretty sad we can't straight up use each other's quirks, but it's neat I can help him out a little by reinforcing his hands. And the sparks can be intimidating too, which I kinda needed. Ashido snorted. What, shark teeth not enough to send villains running? Kiri, you can be plenty scary without the help of your boyfriend. Oh, no. We're just friends. We kinda only just met, so we're getting to know each other. For a moment, Izuku felt his heart pang. He wanted to get to know his soulmates, to see the people behind the really cool quirks. Did the person with the brainwashing get called a villain? He hoped they knew they weren't, not because of their quirk. Did the person with the copy quirk get called names too? Part of him really wanted to meet them, to trade experiences, even if they were just friends and nothing more. If he discovered them, he might even do that, just never letting them catch on that he was their soulmate. Then reality caught up with him and he squashed the pain in his own chest. Down. It was impossible. He didn't deserve them, even as friends. Frankly, he didn't deserve anyone. Uraraka being nice to him, sitting at the table with everyone else, that would eventually come to an end. Soon, people would come to realize he was useless. Too quiet, too weak, and too him. He was shaken out of his own head as the bus shuddered to a stop and the class walked off the bus, chatting excitedly about what this field trip could be. In front of them was a large white dome, the entrance labeled USJ. Oh my gosh! Ashido gushed. Are we in Universal Studios Japan? Kaminari cheered with her, but Aiwazawa just rolled his eyes and they followed him in to be greeted by a different hero. Oh my gosh! Uraraka whispered, screamed beside him. That's 13, the space hero! Izuku smiled a little, feeling her excitement as well. 13 was a really cool rescue hero, and their quirk, Black Hole, was incredibly powerful.
Welcome!
They clapped their gloved hands together. To the unforeseen simulation joint, or the USJ for short. I'm 13 and this is my personal domain and speciality. Where's All Might? Aizawa muttered. 13 winced a little and held up 3 fingers to the groan of their teacher. Oh no, that meant he used up his time for the day. Continuing with the lesson, 13 proceeded to list off a few points about rescue work, talking about how dangerous quirks could be for all the power they held. Here, we're going to be teaching you about control. Kirishima perked up, staring past the teachers into the main plaza, down the stairs from where they were. Hey, Sensei, is that part of the exercise? I was always stiffened, eyeing the swirling purple mist as people started pouring out of it. No, those are villains. 13, protect the students. Izuku's blood turned to ice as Eraserhead flew down the stairs. He could only watch in slow motion as the last person came out of the portal and the purple reformed into a smartly dressed person standing beside the pale blue-haired man covered in severed hands. Where's All Might? The scratchy voice rang out, piercing the distance. He was supposed to be here, but all I see is a Razorhead and that shitty rescue hero. The entire class stiffened, but Izuku actually had a full-on body flinch. They were here for All Might? They knew All Might was supposed to be here? They knew who Eraserhead was? The purple mist man appeared at the top of the stairs, looking prim and posh in his suit. Hello there, we represent the League of Villains, and... He was cut off as Bakugo and Kirishima both lunged at him, only to be warped away somewhere, to sharp inhales, gasps, and yells as 2 members of their class disappeared somewhere. Ah, yes, the Mistman mused. I must not forget, while you are mere students, you are still UA's golden eggs. Well, that certainly speeds this along. After all, my job is to scatter and torture you. Like I'd let you, 13 declared hotly, stepping in front of them. Kids, get out. I'll hold him off. They uncapped their fingers as the class started to inch in the direction of the door, not moving faster for how horrifyingly captive they were. Izuku's eyes widened as he saw a portal open behind the hero, and he let out a strangled gurgle as the rest of the class cried out, 13's suit tearing to pieces from their own quirk, just like they had been saying not 5 minutes ago. Their quirk could kill. Izuku could only hope they wouldn't actually die. And with that, the Mistman dusted himself off, not a speck of dirt on him anywhere. I am free to do what I came to do. Goodbye, children. His vaporous body burst forth, enveloping the entire class, and Izuku felt the ground give out beneath him until he was falling through in the air, landing with a grunt. Already he could feel himself starting to sweat, the air around him stifling hot, but he hauled himself to his feet to make eye contact with both Koda and Asui. The frog girl shuddered and collapsed, letting out a dry-sounding croak, and Izuku's eyes widened. He exchanged a glance with Koda, and they both looked at each other with wide eyes before they both picked up their classmate, desperately starting the search for the exit. They had to get her out of here before she dried up completely.